So you want to learn how to play the guitar? Good. You've made the right choice. I've experienced countless hours of joy, elation, and purpose as the result of my ability to play the guitar, and now I'm here to pass that ability on to you. Almost anyone can learn how to play the guitar as long as they're committed, dedicated, work hard, and have someone to show them how. In this series, we're going to explore the basics of playing the guitar and how to lay a foundation for a prosperous musical future. My name is Dustin Hanusch, and this is Foreground Music Guitar Basics. Alright, you guys, thank you very much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the utmost basics. We're going to be talking about what a guitar is, what some of the key parts of the guitar are, and how to actually get a sound out of the guitar. So first of all, I want to say there's actually different types of guitars. First of all, we have what's called an electric guitar. An electric guitar doesn't provide its own amplification and needs to be plugged into some sort of amplifier. This is the kind of guitar that most new students probably imagine themselves wailing on in front of 1,000 people. Another type of guitar is what we call an acoustic guitar. The hollow body of an acoustic guitar does provide its own amplification. There are two main categories of acoustic guitar. This is what's known as a steel string acoustic guitar, named for the material that the strings are made of, and the other main category is what we call a classical guitar, named for the style of playing associated with it. The classical guitar is also commonly referred to as the Spanish guitar. In addition to there being different types of acoustic guitars, there's numerous different types of electric guitars. This is what's known as a jazz hollow body guitar. Don't be fooled by its somewhat acoustic appearance. It's an electric guitar whose hollow body makes for a different tone. There's many different types of guitars, and half the fun of playing the guitar is seeking out these different types of guitars and, well, playing them. Personally, I prefer to play the classical guitar, and for these instructional videos, I'll usually be using my trusted Yamaha G50A. There it is. Let's get started. Now, the guitar is technically classified as a string instrument, meaning that it's an instrument that produces its sound via the manipulation of strings. Now, the standard guitar has 6 strings. Now, each string, when unmanipulated by the left hand via the fretboard, is tuned to produce a predetermined pitch. Each string is going to have 2 different names, a number name in order from highest to lowest, and a letter name corresponding with the pitch that the string is tuned to. So now when we talk about height in music, we're usually talking about height of pitch. So this is the first great confusing thing about the guitar. This sounds higher than this. And remember, I said the strings are in number order from highest to lowest. So number 1, highest, to number 6, lowest. So this means, believe it or not, what you might think is the bottom of the guitar, this area, we're actually going to refer to as the top, and what seems like the top of the guitar, we're actually going to refer to as the bottom. It would be completely accurate to say that the guitar was built upside down. So that means string number 1, the highest string, is the one that's physically lowest to the floor, but since it's the highest pitch, we are still going to refer to that as the top. So string number 1, string number 2, string number 3, string number 4, string number 5, and string number 6. Now I want you to play each string in order from highest to lowest, from string 1 to string 6, just like I just did, however is most comfortable for you. Now if you're playing with your fingers, it might be easiest just to use the flesh of your thumb for now. And we'll talk about more detailed fingerpicking technique later. If you're playing with a pick, What's probably most important right now is that you just hold the pick in between your index finger and your thumb, and you point the pointy end at the guitar. And we'll talk more about detailed picking technique later. Those are the string numbers. Now let's talk about the string letter names. Whereas the numbers are in order from 1 through 6, the letter names follow no obvious order or any obvious rhyme or reason, so we have to come up with a clever way of memorizing them. What we're going to do is we're going to learn a limerick of sorts, and the idea is the first letter from each word in the limerick is going to correspond to the name of the string. The limerick goes something like this: Easter, bunnies, get, drunk, after, Easter. And to keep it a little bit more G-rated for my adolescent students, I'll substitute the word donuts for drunk. Now each string is tuned to a predetermined pitch. We can change the pitch the string produces, however, if we manipulate the tension on the string using what we call frets. So now this whole elongated portion of the guitar is what we refer to as the neck, and on the front of the neck, the side that the audience can see, is what we refer to as the fingerboard or the fretboard. Now frets literally are these vertical silver lines on the fretboard. These vertical metal bars are what we call frets. Now, the way that we talk about playing the guitar is putting our fingers on any given fret. The truth is, though, we don't literally put our finger on the fret, but we put our finger next to the fret, sort of as close to on it as possible. This bar would be fret 1. So when someone says they put their finger on fret 1, what they're actually doing is putting their finger slightly under fret 1. Now, it is ideal to be just slightly under, but you will find in certain situations you're going to have to compromise and put your fingers more toward the middle and more towards the end. This will happen during certain chord formations, which we'll talk more about later. Now, each finger has a name. The names of your fingers are different depending on the hand that they're on. So that way, if I say the name of any given finger, you also know what hand I'm referring to. Since this is your first lesson, and for right hand technique, we're dealing with whatever's comfortable, i.e. flesh of thumb or pick if you have one, we're not going to worry about the right hand names right now. However, we do have to get into the left hand names right away. Now, when using standard guitar technique, believe it or not, we never use our left hand thumb. So since we're not going to be using the thumb to literally play on the fretboard, it doesn't get a name. The names of the left hand fingers are numbers, and they go in order. It's relatively straightforward. Your index finger will be finger number 1, your middle finger, finger number 2, your ring finger, finger number 3, and your pinky will be finger number 4. That's finger number 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're transferring over from the piano, it's important to remember that your left hand only has 4 fingers, not 5, because I know pianists are used to counting their thumb as finger number 1. So now that we know the names of the strings, we understand the concept of manipulating the tension on a string via the fretboard, and we know the left hand finger numbers, let's give it a shot. Take your first finger, finger number 1, put it on fret 1 of string 1, just like so. Now, however is most comfortable for you, whether it be via the flesh of your thumb or your trusted pick, go ahead and sound that note for me. Good job. So what's happening here is the string is tuned to produce a certain pitch when it's played unfretted. When you play a string unfretted, we refer to that as playing the string open. Open means unfretted or holding down no frets. Now, once you start holding down frets, it changes what pitch is being produced. Even though you're playing fret 1 of string 1, it is not the note E. It is only the note E when you play it open or unfretted. Once you start holding down frets, it changes the pitch that you are playing. Alright, so let's try a couple. can you take your first finger and play fret 3 of string 2? Nice, sounds good. How about your second finger on fret 4 of string 3? Good job, I like it. Can you take your third finger and play fret 5 of string 4? Not bad, not bad. How about your fourth finger on fret 6 of string 5? Nice, I think you get it. And then now one more. Can you take your first finger and play fret 7 of string 6? That's the idea. So one thing I like to emphasize and re-emphasize is that the hardest thing about playing the guitar is actually getting the instrument to sound properly. You may feel like you're doing everything I said to do, but you still just can't quite get it to sound right. It's because when we play the guitar, you're asking your fingers to do things that are counterintuitive. A big part of learning to play the guitar is actually developing new muscles in your hands and in your fingers. Right now, your fingers aren't used to redistributing pressure in the way that you're asking them to, and as a result, they're not good at it. But have no fear, do not be discouraged. I can tell you from experience, as hard as it may seem right now to get the note to sound, the more and more you work at it and the more you develop these muscles and this phenomenon of finger independence, the easier and easier it will become. In our next lesson, I'm going to show you an exercise I've developed that is specifically meant to build these new muscles in our fingers and hands. Now, a couple of final thoughts before I let you guys go. So due to the unique tuning of the guitar, we learn it in a way, and we also play it in a way that is not exactly musical. What I mean by that is an instrument like a piano, the flute, or the clarinet, as you learn how to play the instrument, you will probably also learn how to read standard musical notation, and you'll learn basic music theoretical concepts. Now, to learn to play the guitar and to be a fantastic guitar player, you do not need to learn those things. Now, I advocate in the long run, of course, learning how to read standard musical notation and basic music theoretical concepts. But in the short run, when it comes to learning guitar, the things are not necessary. The way that the guitar is learned and played is via the memorization and manipulation of formations and patterns. After we learn these formations and patterns, we're going to talk a little bit more about music theory. Notice earlier, when you played fret 1 of string 1, and I told you that it wasn't the note E, I didn't tell you what note it is. I didn't tell you because for all intents and purposes, it's actually not really important for our study right now. As you learn how to play via formations and patterns, the note names on the fretboards will become more and more familiar. It is a common misconception, especially amongst adult students, that when they learn to play the guitar, they need to learn what every single note is on the fretboard. The truth is, and you may be happy to hear, that guitar is not learned note by note, and it is not played note by note, so we are generally not going to be talking about it note by note. And one final thought, I do just want to say thank you very much for joining me. My goal for all of my students is to have you to be at this place where you can go out and learn and create music individually of me. Given the proper knowledge, a guitar, and the internet, you can entertain yourself for hours, if not days. Not to mention entertain your friends and family. Alright, thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't already, please leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love teaching, I love making instructional videos. If you're learning something or if you just really like the videos, you can help me make them by supporting me on Patreon. Use the link in the description to this video to head over to Patreon, become a patron, you'll get access to exclusive content, and you will become a part of the foreground music. Another way you can support me is by sharing my videos with your friends, and if you're a Spotify user, you can use the link in the description of this video to head over to Spotify, follow me there, and stream, like, and share my music via Spotify. Thank you again. I'll see you guys next time.